Salam and peace be upon you. My name is Muhammad Laiq Sivighi, the father of HOLOPHASE. Episode 13, The Silent Ground. Part 12, The Infinite Jet, Bottomless Depth. Infinite zoom, finite focus. Today we face a question that has haunted science since its beginning. How deep does the rabbit hole go? When we look at the world, really look, we find levels within levels, patterns within patterns. Each time we think we've reached the bottom, we discover there's more beneath. This is part 12, earning permission for phi to have infinite descriptive depth, for reality to be bottomless in its structure. But let me be clear. We're not saying the universe is infinitely large. We're saying something more subtle. The structure of reality has infinite descriptive depth, though any particular description can only capture a finite slice. The tree, your everyday proof. Picture a tree you've actually stood near. A walnut tree, an oak, a pine. Stand back. See its overall shape, the way it holds the sky. That's one level of reading. Step closer. See branches dividing into smaller branches, the fractal pattern. That's another level. Closer still, individual leaves, their veins, their edges, their tiny asymmetries. Closer, bark texture, grooves, ridges, insect paths, moss. Closer with tools, cells, molecules, atoms, particles. At no point do you hit a final level. Each zoom reveals more structure, more pattern. This isn't special to trees, it's everywhere. A carpet, overall pattern, individual knots, yarn twist, fibers, molecules. A mountain river, silver thread from ridge, roaring rapids up close, water in hand, molecules. A person, appearance, personality, life story, genetics, neurochemistry, quantum states. Each level has its own patterns, its own laws, its own mathematics. And here's what matters. No single level is the true description. All are valid. All are readings at different scales. Phi is like that. It has infinite depth of structure, infinite potential for description. But, and this is crucial, we never access all of it at once. We always work with finite slices. The mathematical heart, the infinite jet. Let me give you the precise mathematical concept, the infinite jet. When you have a smooth function phi, you can ask increasingly detailed questions. 1. What's its value here? 2. What's its slope? First derivative. 3. What's its curvature? Second derivative. 4. How does the curvature change? Third derivative. 5. And on and on. The collection, phi, phi prime, phi prime, phi prime, at a point is called the infinite jet of phi at that point. Think of it like zooming into a curve. From far, just its overall shape. Closer, its steepness. Closer, how it bends. Closer, how the bending changes. And on, the infinite jet captures all possible zoom levels at once. Now our claim. Phi naturally has infinite jet structure. Because phi is smooth, from part 11, it has derivatives to all orders. The complete description of phi at a point includes all derivatives. This mathematically captures infinite descriptive depth. The weaver's wisdom, patterns within patterns. Our weaver understands this intuitively. When she makes a carpet, she works at multiple levels simultaneously. overall design, where major shapes go, border patterns, how edges frame the center, knot sequences, the rhythm of colors, yarn preparation, how fibers are spun, dye chemistry, how colors are fixed. She doesn't think about dye chemistry while tying knots. Each level has its own time, its own logic. But here's what's beautiful. Each level is autonomous, yet consistent. The overall design isn't reducible to knot sequences. The knot sequences aren't reducible to dye chemistry, yet all support each other. This is infinite descriptive depth in practice. Multiple autonomous but consistent descriptive levels, with no ultimate bottom. The weaver's apprentice once asked, which level is most important? Which is fundamental? The weaver smiled. All and none. If the dye fades, the pattern is lost. If the pattern is ugly, the finest dye is wasted. They need each other. There is no most important. Only what matters for what you're doing now. The prediction. Coherent ceilings. From this, we make a startling prediction. Every measurement, every theory, every description will eventually hit a coherent ceiling, a point where more detail yields no better predictions. Think of our tree. If you're predicting when it will drop leaves, knowing the season gets you within weeks. Knowing branch health gets you within days. Knowing cellular processes gets you within hours. Knowing quantum states of chlorophyll won't help better than cellular level. You've hit diminishing returns, the coherent ceiling for that prediction. The quantum details are real. They matter for other things, but for leaf drop prediction, they're noise relative to your question. This happens everywhere. Weather prediction, global pressure systems, days ahead forecasts. Individual air molecules doesn't help, turbulence ceiling. Economics, market psychology predicts trends. Traders' neurochemistry doesn't help, economic ceiling. Physics, quantum field theory works at accessible energies. Planck scale details doesn't improve predictions, current experimental ceiling. Our prediction says, this isn't an accident. It's fundamental to reality with infinite descriptive depth. Because there is always more structure below, any particular question only taps into finite descriptive levels. Beyond that, additional detail is just noise for that purpose. Different questions tap different levels. Quantum computing might need Planck scale physics, leaf drop prediction doesn't. Falsification, the fundamental pixel. Here's how this claim could die. If someone proves reality has a fundamental pixel size, a scale below which no further structure exists, then infinite descriptive depth fails. What would this look like? If we discover spacetime is literally discrete at the Planck scale, made of indivisible units with nothing below, or if energy comes in absolutely smallest packets with no half packets, or if we prove mathematically that infinite descriptive depth leads to contradictions, then our claim is false. But consider history. Every fundamental level wasn't. Atoms, uncuttable, gave us electrons and nuclei. Nuclei gave us protons and neutrons. Protons gave us quarks. Quarks gave us... The search continues. Each time, surely this is it. Each time, more levels. The burden is on skeptics to show why this time it's different, why the trend stops. They might be right, but our claim is, Phi's mathematics suggests otherwise. The human experience, knowing and not knowing. Let me make this personal. You meet someone. First, appearance, voice. Deeper, personality, values. Deeper, life story, hopes. Deeper, genetics, neurochemistry. Deeper, quantum brain states. Each level is real. Each influences levels above. But no single level is the real person. The person exists across all levels. And different questions tap different levels. Will they like this restaurant? Personality level. Will they develop this disease? Genetic level. What are they thinking? Might tap quantum level. But knowing quantum states won't help predict restaurant preferences. You've hit the coherence ceiling for that question. This is infinite descriptive depth in human terms. People are bottomless. You never fully know someone. There's always more depth. And that's okay. It's necessary. Complete knowledge would be impossible, and perhaps undesirable. The mathematical structure. Now the proper mathematical picture. We have our abstract event domain E. Over each point E, we don't just have phi of E. We have the infinite jet, J infinity phi of E, equals phi of E, phi prime of E, phi picno V of E. The collection of all infinite jets forms the infinite jet bundle, J infinity E. A physical law will be a differential equation that picks out which infinite jets are physically allowed. But, crucially, any actual physical configuration corresponds to a finite order section, because actual things have finite information. The infinite jet bundle is all possible descriptions to all orders. Physical law selects a subset. Actual things are finite truncations. This captures both. Infinite descriptive depth, full bundle is infinite. Finite focus. Actual sections are finite. The two mistakes we avoid. This perspective helps us avoid two common mistakes. 1. The final brick mistake. The belief that there must be a smallest thing, a final layer. That once you find it, you've finished reality. But phi isn't a brick. Its descriptive questions don't come with a built-in last question. We don't pre-install a bottom. 2. The total access mistake. The belief that because depth is infinite, a perfect theory must include infinite detail. That any finite theory is false. But we're finite beings. We read finite sentences through finite windows. Demanding infinite access is demanding non-human science. Part 12 saves us from both illusions. Reality isn't shallow. We can't drink the whole ocean. The wisdom of finite focus. Here's the beautiful thing. We live in an infinitely deep world, yet function perfectly with finite focus. When you look at a tree, you see tree, not molecules. When you listen to music, you hear melody, not waveforms. When you know someone, you know their personality, not their quantum states. This selection isn't a failure, it's necessary. It's how finite beings navigate infinite depth. In fact, consciousness might be this ability to select and maintain coherent descriptive levels. To see tree, not molecule collection. To hear melody, not pressure waves. The miracle isn't that reality has infinite depth. The miracle is that we can focus on finite slices and still navigate successfully. The different perspectives. Stand by our mountain river. Consider who comes here. The fisherman knows where trout hide, the seasonal flows. The geologist knows how the canyon formed, the rock layers. The chemist knows water's properties, dissolved minerals. The physicist knows fluid dynamics, quantum fields. Each has a valid description. Each description is finite. Adapted to their purpose, none is the complete description. The complete description, the infinite jet of the river, is beyond any human grasp. It's the territory that can never be fully mapped. This doesn't make our maps worthless. It makes them purposeful. A map is not the territory. A finite description is not the infinite primitive. But a good map gets you where you need to go. Our physical theories are maps, finite truncations of phi's infinite jet. They work within certain domains. When we push beyond, the map fails. We need a new map, but the territory is always phi. Why this solves all problems? This perspective resolves deep physics puzzles. The fundamental particles problem. Are electrons fundamental, or made of preons, or strings? With infinite descriptive depth, the question loses meaning. Electrons are real at certain descriptive levels. Whether there's something beneath is like asking if there's something beneath knot patterns. There is, fibers, molecules, but that doesn't make knots unreal. The measurement problem in quantum mechanics. Why does measurement collapse the wave function? If reality has infinite descriptive depth, measurement is selecting which descriptive level we're accessing. Quantum description, wave function, is one level. Classical description, definite position, is another. Both are real, just different levels. Collapse is moving between levels. The black hole information paradox. What happens to information falling in? With infinite descriptive depth, information isn't lost. It moves to descriptive levels we can't currently access. Like molecular dye structure isn't lost when looking at carpet patterns. It's still there, just not visible at that level. The cosmological constant problem. Why is vacuum energy so small? If vacuum has infinite descriptive depth, vacuum energy is just one level's description. Other levels might have enormous energies that cancel or aren't accessible. These aren't solutions yet. We haven't built the mathematics, but they're hints. The prediction in practice. What would evidence for infinite descriptive depth look like? 1. We never hit a granularity limit in measurements. As precision improves, we keep finding more structure. 2. Effective theories work at all scales. We can always write effective theories for phenomena at given scales. When we probe finer scales, we need new effective theories. This hierarchy never ends. 3. Renormalization group flow has no fixed point. In quantum field theory, parameters flow as we change energy scale. With infinite depth, this flow might never reach a fixed point, might keep going indefinitely. 4. Fractal patterns appear unexpectedly. Systems with infinite depth often show self-similarity across scales. We might find fractals in quantum fields, space-time, the vacuum. 5. Information bounds are always contextual. The information needed to describe a system always depends on what questions we're asking. Never reaches an absolute total information. We already see hints of all these. The firewall. What we're not saying. We need to be careful. Infinite is a dangerous word. We're not saying the universe is infinite in size, different. There are infinitely many things, different. Processes take infinite time, different. We're saying the mathematical object phi is infinitely differentiable. Its jet has infinitely many components. This is a property of the kind of function it is. Whether physical instantiations manifest, all that structure is separate. A painting of a circle doesn't contain infinitely many points. Pixels are finite. But the circle it represents mathematically does. We're talking about the mathematical representation, the blueprint, not necessarily the built house. The shepherd's melody, depth in time. Remember our shepherd with the fading memory? His melody also has infinite descriptive depth, but in time. Coarsest. It's a folk tune in minor key. Finer. Phrase structure. Finer. Rhythmic patterns. Finer. Exact pitches. Finer. Waveforms. Finer. Quantum air molecule states. Just like the tree, no level is the real melody. The melody exists at all levels. If dancing, phrase level matters. If tuning, exact pitch matters. If studying acoustics, waveform matters. Different purposes tap different depths. This is infinite descriptive depth in time. Complete specification requires infinite information, but any finite purpose only needs finite information. The practical signature. Here's what you'd actually see in experiments if this is true. As you increase description order, include more derivatives in your model, you'll see initial improvement. Error decreases as you capture more structure. Saturation. Error stops decreasing in a stable way. You've hit the coherence ceiling. Instability. Beyond the ceiling, improvements become unstable. Work on one dataset, fail on another. You're fitting noise. This pattern, improvement, saturation, instability, is the signature of finite focus in an infinitely deep world. It's not that deeper structure isn't there, it's that beyond the point, you can't reliably access it with your particular window, your particular instruments, your particular question. The falsification conditions. For infinite descriptive depth to be false, one must prove 1. Mathematical impossibility. That any theory with infinite descriptive depth is inconsistent or leads to unresolvable paradoxes. 2. Empirical bottom. Discover a scale below which no further structure exists and prove it's fundamental, not just currently inaccessible. 3. Descriptive completeness. Show that some finite description captures all observable phenomena at all scales with no need for deeper levels. 4. No coherence ceilings. Show that in properly licensed windows, higher order description keeps improving prediction indefinitely without saturation. If any of these happens, our claim fails. What we've earned. We've now earned permission for FIFA has infinite descriptive depth. It is infinitely differentiable, living naturally in infinite jet spaces, though any physical description uses only finite truncations. This joins our permissions. 1. Phi is comparability. 2. Phi is pre-ontological. 3. Phi is possibility. 4. Only relations matter. 5. Relations need carriers. 6. Value space is cyclic. 7. Multiple patches possible. 8. Domain is abstract. 9. Phi is smooth where defined. 10. Phi has infinite descriptive depth. We're getting very close. We have almost everything needed to let differentiation happen, to let omega, kappa, nu emerge. One last permission before transition. How do we select which finite truncation to use? How does possibility become actuality with particular descriptive levels? That's next. The listener carry. Infinite zoom, finite focus. Hold that. When you look at anything, tree, person, problem, remember, it has infinite depth, always more to see. You don't need infinite understanding to act. You need the right level for your purpose. This applies everywhere. In science, don't seek the fundamental theory. Seek the right theory for your questions. In relationships, don't try to know everything about someone. Know what matters for the relationship you're building. Don't render every detail. Render the details that serve the composition. Don't seek complete understanding. Seek sufficient understanding for meaningful action. The world is bottomless, but we are not. We are finite beings in an infinitely deep reality. Our power isn't comprehending all depths. It's selecting the right depth for each moment. That's the wisdom of finite focus. Return to the tree. We're back at our tree, the same one from the beginning. You can see it as a landmark, a biological organism, a collection of cells, a molecular factory, a quantum system. All are true, none exclusively true. The tree doesn't care which description you use. It's all simultaneously. Your choice depends on whether you're giving directions, studying biology, making medicine, testing quantum gravity. Context selects descriptive level. This is the profound lesson. Reality doesn't come with a privileged descriptive level. Physics has spent centuries looking for the fundamental level. Maybe there isn't one. Maybe all levels are equally real, equally fundamental in their context. Phi, with its infinite jet, contains all levels potentially. Actualization selects which become relevant. Preparing for transition. We now have everything mathematically to let differentiation happen. Phi is smooth, has infinite jets. We can work with finite truncations. Different truncations equals different descriptive levels. Next, how does a particular truncation get selected? How do we go from all possibilities to this actuality with this depth? That's the mystery of actualization, of measurement, of manifestation. What separates blueprint from building, score from performance, recipe from meal? We're ready to ask that question. We've earned the right. We've built the stage. But before we step onto it, one more permission. Permission for selection to happen at all. Infinite zoom, finite focus. The selection principle. How possibility becomes actual. End of part 12. Memory hook. Infinite zoom, finite focus. Prediction. Coherent ceilings for all predictions. Never finding fundamental pixels. Effective theories at all scales. Falsification. Proof of fundamental granularity. Mathematical inconsistency. No coherent ceilings. Firewall. Infinite descriptive depth is mathematical property of phi, not physical realization. Always peace be upon.